Hey, John Morris here, and today in this video, I'm going to talk to you about the 5 big myths of freelancing. And I want to start off by putting it in its proper context, because these aren't just sort of random things. This really comes from some things that I'm seeing changing with what's happening in freelance and so forth. But before I get into all of that, if there's really one thing that you take away from this video, it's this. There will be a lot of people who come to this and they will look at the video. It's going to be a longer video. I'm not going to dance in front of you and try and entertain you or anything like that. And there will be a lot of people that come to this video who are struggling as freelancers, who really want to freelance and aren't having the success that they want. And they simply won't watch it, not because they took the time to actually, look at what's being said and evaluate the content, any of that. They simply won't watch it because it's a long video. And we're going to get into talking about the competition of freelance and how to win that competition and so forth. But if there's anything that you do that's more important than anything else, it's just putting in the effort to actually do things of high quality. Whether that's sitting down to watch a video that's going to teach you something about freelancing, whether that's doing the research that you need in order to understand your clients, whether it's actually filling out a full profile on a freelancing site, whether it's delivering for your clients and doing a good job, whatever it is, most people, or a lot of people that I come across, are not willing to put in the effort. So simply being willing to put in the effort is going to allow you to outcompete a lot of these people. So I just want to encourage you, if you're watching this, and to really just take the time to do that. So anyway, I want to get into the this sort of talking about the context of all of this. And I've been a freelance web developer for 15 years, and in that 15 years, a lot has changed. Right? There's been the rise of the freelancing platforms like Upwork and Freelancer and TopTal and all these other ones that are out there. Social media really didn't exist, not at least not like it does now. When I first started, there's been all sorts of things that have come along in terms of automation that automate a lot of the things that maybe I used to do as a freelancer and so forth. So there's been any number of threats along the way that I've encountered, and thankfully I've been able to deal with all of those and continue to freelance and continue to do what I do. But I think what's happening now is a bigger threat than any that I've seen previous to this. And it's not anything complex. It's really simple. It's competition, right? More and more people are ditching their 9-to-5 job and becoming freelancers, whether that's by choice, whether it's by necessity. It's just more and more it's happening. At Upwork, Freelancers Union, they do a survey every year, and they look at the numbers, and every year the amount of people who are freelancing grows. And I think it's by 2020 there are projected to be more people freelancing in the United States than there are people who are working sort of regular 9-to-5 jobs. And all of that competition has created a lot of noise. And so standing out, getting hired, and winning the competition that is freelancing has become harder than I've ever seen it. So the 5 myths that I'm going to talk about, I sort of think of this as your how to win blueprint. These are things that other freelancers, especially people who are just getting started and maybe have never heard this before, they're things that they're going to believe that are going to lead them astray as a freelancer. And you, because you know what these are not going to fall for these things, and you're going to have a lot easier time competing and succeeding. So think of this really as not just a kind of random collection of myths, but actually a blueprint for being able to win that increasing competition. And what you'll find is that as the competition increases, it's sort of the old saying, rising tides swell all ships. As more and more people become freelancers, more and more people are going to look to hire freelancers instead of hiring a regular business or hiring a worker or whatever. And so there'll be also more people coming into the market. And if you can compete and win, you actually are able to get more of that market share, and you can actually get more business and make more money as a freelancer, even though the competition is increasing, because you're just so much better fit to compete. So again, that's what I want to give you in this video. Like I said, it's going to be a long video, but I hope by the end of this, you will see that these things are really going to give you a leg up. So with that said, let's dive into it. So the first one here, then, the first myth that I want to talk about is this idea that anyone can freelance. And you've may have heard this or whatever. And honestly, I used to believe this. I used to say this. But the more I've worked with people, the more I realize it's not really true. And it's not really about can or can't, right? I think it's technically possible that anybody could put with enough effort and enough focus could learn how to freelance and be pretty good at it and be able to make a decent living doing that. I think that's generally technically possible, but what I've learned is it's really more about want to than it is about can or can't. And I mean really want to, and it's really just sort of a different mindset. And what I found is a lot of people really don't want to freelance even though they think they do or they say they do. And to me, what it comes down to is, what do you value more, freedom or security? And I can't really be more direct or blunt than that. Because if you value freedom more and control more, then you'll do whatever it takes to make freelancing work. And that's a particular mindset that someone who doesn't have that mindset, it's really hard to explain to them and get them to understand. They just don't see it that way. They see freelancing as like one of the options. Whereas if you value freedom most, you kind of see it as the only option. And so, again, you'll do whatever it takes to make it happen. Now, if you value job security more, then you're fine working a regular job, whether you're freelance or not. It's not a big deal to you. Like I said, it's just an option. Now, I'll say that I think job security is a myth. And I think we can objectively say that. I think we've seen with what's happened in the economy and the recessions and the crashes and all those things lately, we've seen huge companies that people were at that probably thought, hey, I've got this job, I'm set, I can retire here, etc. We've seen those companies go belly up. And I think especially in this age of the startup, where a lot of people get a job at a startup and they think, they sort of get caught up in the momentum of the startup and the hype that the startup is trying to create for investors, for customers, users, etc. They sort of buy into that and start to believe that this startup is going to be around for forever, when a lot of times those startups are, running on a shoestring budget, or they're a month or two from going under, or one funding round from going under. And so again, I just think that we've seen that job security, as we've sort of known it in the past, is a myth, and any company can go belly up at any time, which is why I like freelancing, because at least I have control of it. If I go belly up, then it's on me. It's not, some, CEO who went on a weekend bender or failed to do the right thing in terms of getting rounds of funding or whatever, right? I'm not beholden to any of that. I'm beholden to me. And as you get better at freelancing, that becomes a little bit less of a scary proposition. So again, I think you have to really want it. And what I'm really driving at here for you is to do some soul searching, to really think about it. Is this what you really want? Are you that type of person that thinks about a 9-to-5 sort of corporate job and you're just like, that's not me, I can't do that, or I can't do that anymore? If that's you, then I think you can make freelancing work. And it will be some work and there will be some tough times. But if you have that mentality, in the end, I believe it'll work out for you. So that's the first myth. The second one, if there's one myth that I could like crumple up into a ball and stomp on the ground like 10,000 times and light on fire, and like, it's this, right? Freelancing is not a numbers game, or it's only a numbers game if you make it one. Now, I see this a lot with people because I do videos and stuff on Upwork. I see people who talk about this in relation to Upwork, right? So they don't research their market. They don't put much effort into writing their profile. They don't filter their jobs and actually look through jobs to see which ones are relevant to their skills and they would be a best match for. No, they don't spend time writing a bid or researching the project that they're bidding on. A lot of times they'll just copy and paste the bid that they make in there. Right, and they'll blow through all of their connects on Upwork, which is the ability for you to apply for, to apply for and bid on a job, and you have a limited number of those each month. They'll blow through them in like 3 days, and then wonder why they don't get work. And then they'll go on all these, social media sites or YouTube or whatever and rant and rave about how Upwork is a scam and this, that, the other, right? Those people are treating freelancing as a numbers game. And if you do that, you are going to be miserable, right? When you hear people talk about a race to the bottom, or they use a term like low ballers, or they talk about people who could charge $5 an hour doing, some sort of freelancing thing or whatever, and there's no way they can compete with that. These are all people that have this mindset of freelancing as a numbers game. And again, it's only that if you make it that. And it is miserable. It is a race to the bottom if you do that. But there's another way to approach it. To me, freelancing is a quality game. If you want to make more money, you want to work less hours, you want to work with clients you actually like, you want to work on projects you enjoy, you want to have free time, you want to be valued and appreciated. And this all goes back to sort of what I said at the beginning. It's about effort. It's about taking the time. Like, if there's, again, one thing that you could do that a lot of other freelancers don't do, it's research. Researching your market, understanding how your prospective client thinks, what their hopes and dreams are, what they want, right? What they're looking for in a service provider. What are the things that they're willing to pay good money for? Doing that sort of research, most freelancers simply do not do it. They think they can come up with it all in their head. You can't. You have to take the time to do the research. Again, so that's just a quality thing, putting in quality work, writing a profile or a services page that actually explains what you do, going back over it, checking for typos, etc. Like, putting in the effort, and the more you put in effort, the better quality clients you're going to get. And the better quality clients you're going to get, you're going to be able to charge more, and long term, you're ultimately going to be able to make the money you want to make and not have to work as much, because you're able to charge a premium sort of a premium fee for your services. That really is sort of the trick when it comes to the numbers part of freelancing. A lot of people view it as a race to the bottom. It really is a race to the top. It's how quickly you can get to that $100 an hour mark with whatever it is that the quicker you can get to that mark. When you get to $100 an hour and you're getting clients on a regular basis, like, you will be a very happy individual. So again, freelancing is only a numbers game if you make it one. All right, next is, this is sort of a catch-all for a lot of things that I see. So it's all about, and what it means is it's all about anything other than delivering high quality service. So I'll see people say, well, it's all about marketing, it's all about social media, it's all about this, that, the other. No, it's not, right? It's about delivering high quality service. As a freelancer, you are a service provider, and service providers have been around forever, for millennia. And the secret to success as a service provider, those secrets are known. They're not secrets. And all the technology in the world, all the freelancing platforms, all the social media, it doesn't change that, because people are still people. And so as a service provider, if you want the secret to success, the big key, right, that no one's telling you, whatever, it's repeat business and referrals. That's it, right? Working with a client, and then they come back to you again to work with you again and again and again. And they're so happy with you, they tell other people, right? Repeat business and word of mouth, you might say. That's it. There's nothing more complex than that. And if you aren't eventually, at first you're not going to, but eventually, if you're not getting most of your work through repeat business and referrals, you're just going to struggle. That's just the reality of freelancing. Trying to bring in new clients on a monthly basis and doing everything you got to do to convince them to hire you, while at the same time having to deliver for current clients, it's very, very difficult to do, especially on a long-term basis. So the way you are going to win is through repeat business and referrals. And you get repeat business and referrals by delivering ultra high quality service. Not good enough service, but great service. Now, I'll give you a little hint in terms of this, or what I would call trump cards in terms of service. Now, the what on you deliver needs to be quality and and the way you interact with your client, all those sorts of things that you would sort of naturally think of when it comes to service. Those things all need to be there. But there are two things that I find are kind of trump cards in all the years that I've done this. And the first one is speed. Now, this will apply to probably 95% of freelance work that you could do. There's probably some things where speed is not near a consideration, but for most things, I know, especially for me as a web developer, the faster you can deliver, and the same quality of delivery, but the faster you can do it, it's sort of this thing in people's heads that makes them go, wow. And that's where you need to get them to. So whatever you can do to make your speed of delivery better without sacrificing quality, that's going to get people over that hump into, really saying, wow. And another one is communication. And a lot of freelancers have the habit of just sort of buckling down when they're doing their freelance work and not doing a good job of communicating with their client, not proactively communicating, really just sort of responding to whatever the client asks or says or does. But if you really want to go to that next level of wow, move into proactive communication. So communicating with them when they're not expecting it, sending them an email out of the blue or giving them a call out of the blue, as opposed to them always having to drag updates and information and communication out of you. If they have to do that, they're just going to get tired of it no matter how good of a service provider you are. So the more you can communicate, the better you can communicate, the more proactively you can communicate, then that's going to help you with that wow factor and get them to give you that repeat business and that referrals. All right, so that's myth number 3. Number 4, this really applies to new freelancers. And so it can seem like a catch-22, right? You need a really good portfolio in order to get clients to hire you. But at the same time, you need clients to hire you to have a really good portfolio. That's what a lot of people think. Well, it's just not true. First and foremost, right? Clients want to see what you're capable of, right? So they, as a developer, they want to see what the sites that I build look like, right? If you're building wedding cakes, they want to see the wedding cakes that you've built. Now, whether that is for someone, you just built it to put in your portfolio, or you built that for an actual client, that's sort of secondary. They don't care as much about that. Sure, that'll add a little bit to it, especially if you get a review from that client that says, oh, you were amazing to work with, right? The experience that they had with you, that's going to help even more. But at bare minimum, you just need to show them what you're capable of. And so when you start off, you don't need to fill your portfolio with things you've done for clients. You can fill it with things you simply did on your own. Like you could bake 10 wedding cakes and take pictures of them and then put those in your portfolio. They're for nobody, but you take pictures, put them in your portfolio to show people what you're capable of. For web developers, build a website, put for nobody, and take screenshots and put those in your portfolio. So it doesn't have to be for clients. It can be for family. It can be friends. It can be stuff you've done for free. It can be anything that just shows people what you're capable of doing. And I think what's probably become a little bit cliche line from Gary Vaynerchuk, but it really applies here, which is 1 is greater than 0. Having something is better than nothing. Now, the one caveat I'll say here is don't just put everything in there. Right? If you bake 10 wedding cakes, look at them and say, okay, what are the 5 best? And put the 5 best in there, because you never know what item in your portfolio someone's going to look at. And so if they happen to look at your 7th best cake or your 7th best website, they're not really looking at your best work. So you want to make sure everything you're putting in your portfolio is your best work. It's more about quality than it is about volume. Okay, so again, you don't need a portfolio of clients when you first get started. You can fill that with whatever you need to show off what you're capable of. All right, the final myth then here is that freelancing is more work. Now, this is a little tricky because it is more work at first. right? Because you have to do research and you have to do marketing and you have to do bookkeeping and all these things that if you were working a regular job, you might not have to do. But on average, and this is not just sort of a hunch, like global averages in the United States, pretty much averages across the board, wherever you look, freelancers make more per hour. So you're going to make more money on the hours that you're actually working doing things for clients. And if you build your freelance business the right way, the way that I'm advising you to in this video, with time, you can charge even more and get to that sort of key $100 an hour mark. And then you don't have to market so hard because you're getting repeat business, you're getting referrals, you can afford to hire someone to do your bookkeeping for you. Because you're building your own thing, you have control of it, you reap all the benefits from it. And eventually, if you do it right, you end up working less. And 15 years of doing this, and I made a lot of mistakes early on, but sort of figured some things out about halfway through. And after, a good solid 7-8 years of doing things the right way, I can tell you that you can reach a point where you don't have to, work hours and hours and hours and hours on end in order to run your freelance business. In fact, if you do the math, if you're making $100 an hour, you need to work 20 hours a week, and that will give you $2,000 a week. You take that times 52 weeks, that's a 6-figure income. So you can make a 6-figure income only billing 20 hours a week if you play the quality game, if you build your business right, and if you've done a good job and you're getting repeat business, you're getting referrals, you're not having to do a ton of marketing, you've outsourced some of the things that you don't want to do, like bookkeeping, you can afford to do that. Those other 20 hours of that 40-hour work week don't have to be spent working on your business. They can be spent with your family, with your kids, going on vacation, going on trips, whatever it is that you want to do. If you build it right, eventually you will get to the point where you can work less. But it is more work at first. So I still consider that a myth and something that a lot of people just keeps them from even getting into freelancing in the first place. So those are the 5 myths. And again, I think if you take all of these things together and really sit down and do some soul searching, I think that you will reach a point where you have a good mindset and a good approach to be able to take on freelancing and be sure that it's something that you really can succeed at and be successful at, and not fall for the traps that everybody else is falling at. Now, if you want to go even further, I also teach a course called The Beginner's Guide to Freelance, where I sort of take you through all of the fundamentals of freelancing, sort of the basic skills, like doing the research you need to do, figuring out who your client's going to be, what it is what services you can offer them, how much you should charge, where do you go to find clients, how do you persuade them to hire you, what are the things that you need to do to wow them and have them give you repeat business and referrals and so forth. All of those things I go through in detail in that course. So if you know you're ready to dive into freelancing and you want sort of a no BS approach where you're not going to talk about all this hacky, gimmicky stuff, we're just going to show you the fundamentals of what you need to do as a freelancer, then I think that course will be the ticket for you. So the good part about it is you can I put it over on Skillshare, and because I'm a teacher over on Skillshare, I can offer you a 2-month free trial of their service. Now they're a sort of premium training platform, so basically they have over 20,000 courses over there. You generally pay a monthly fee. You get access to all the courses. There's no limitations or anything like that. You can watch as much as you want. But as a teacher, I can give you a 2-month free trial of that. And so you can actually get in there without having to pay a penny. You can take that freelancing course, and then if you want, you can cancel before that 2 months is up, and you never pay a penny. So you can take the course for free, essentially, if you would like. Now, you might be wondering, well, if I'm taking your course for free, what's in it for you? They actually pay me as a teacher just for you to watch the courses. So my vested interest is in you actually consuming the content and getting something out of it. The courses do better and raise higher in their rankings if I get good reviews. So my entire intention, my entire focus is on making a really good course that really helps you that makes you want to watch the whole thing and give it a good review. And that's ultimately how I earn my income. So just to be sort of straightforward and transparent about that. So anyway, if you want to take that course or learn more about that course, you can go to johnmorrisonline.com/freelance. All right, that'll do it for this video. Thanks for watching. We'll talk to you next time.